The price of Bitcoin today is $28,136, which is fantastic because it means that my trade from yesterday is starting to come back around. Things are starting to look healthier in the crypto world right now. And of course, Bitcoin's price is looking like it's heading to the upside. Today, we've seen the same on Ethereum as well, which is up 2%. And we've also seen the value of Ethereum versus Bitcoin beginning to rise again. It needs to break above that level of resistance, though, in order to continue this perceivable breakout. Now, in today's video, of course, we're going to discuss the price of Bitcoin. I'm going to show you my current open trades, how they're getting along. Some of them are still in a loss, but they're in less of a loss than yesterday. And again, I want to point out the size of the trades right now are very large, which means that the losses could be huge, the profits could be huge. But at the same time, it's all fun and games. Anyway, if you don't mind, do drop a like on today's video. I'd sincerely appreciate it. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, especially if you are new. And let's crack straight on with what is going on the price of Bitcoin. And this is the price of Bitcoin right now, $28,126. It's fluctuating just a little bit there right now because it's literally just had a bit of a boop to the upside, and now it's kind of going sideways again. What are we expecting from Bitcoin? Well, this is technically a bit of a bull flag pattern. At the same time, Bitcoin at this stage needs to break back above the highs set here on the 5-minute chart, approximately $28,228. Now, the entry on my trade currently sits, if we go over to it right now, the entry on my trade, this Bitcoin trade right here, $1.2 million. The entry, as you can see, is $28,240. The current price of Bitcoin is below my entry. My entry is above, just above where it went to just a few seconds ago. And if we look overnight, overnight, my trade entered into profit. But yet, we are not yet closed the CME gap. The CME gap currently sits at $28,740. And being that the CME gap sits at that level and Bitcoin's price is not yet at that level, there is still some scope for gains within this trade, and that is the trade that I'm intending to take. Generally, the CME gap, when it opens, it doesn't generally close on a Monday, it generally closes on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, and I believe we've got some Fed news coming up later this week, which again would probably affect the markets. The news that came out earlier today, first thing this morning, that was why the price of Bitcoin pumped back to the upside. I can't remember what the news was. It wasn't wholly important. It didn't really move the price of Bitcoin at all, but at the same time, it was a little bit of a boop, and that was pretty nice. Now, another thing to point out would be in yesterday's video, I said that, look, the DXY is going to crash on Monday morning. The DXY is crashing right now. That's the value of the US dollar. Why is the value of the US dollar crashing? Well, it's a lot to do with these trade deals that China is going around the world and making, especially the ones in Saudi Arabia right now, because previously across the entire world, the currency of the US dollar is the one that everybody picks to trade oil. However, that is changing right now. China is going around the world and they're saying use Chinese yen as the currency of which you use to trade oil. Brazil has signed up for it. Russia's signed up for it. What's the other one? Saudi Arabia. That's the key one. They've signed up for it, and they were previously very big on the American side. This is going back on some major trade deals that have been made over the course of the past few years, and it's why the US dollar is dumping. Don't expect that this trend is going to change anytime soon. The US dollar will continue using its value if it's not the main currency of choice in the oil industry, especially, that's how it's looking right now. At the same time, we have seen bank stocks starting to come up a little bit. First Republic Bank up 3% today, and Deutsche Bank up 1.6% today. But let's just put that into a little bit of perspective here. Go over to the daily chart, reset the scale to auto, and just zoom out a little bit. These things look absolutely horrific over long periods of time. The banking industry is in decline. This is an undeniable decline and sinking into irrelevance, basically. And when the banks reach these levels, they're getting liquidity squeeze. It's only so long that these banks can exist at these prices before a bank run happens and the inevitable happens and everybody loses all of their money. Where do people put their money when they pull it out of the banks? They put it into Bitcoin, they put it into property. But the thing is with property right now, the banks have got so much property built up within their portfolios, whether they be mortgage loans or just in general loans. A lot of these loans are taken out on properties, which means that if the bank has to recall all of that money, you know what happens? Everybody puts the house up for sale, the housing market crashes. So it's unlikely that people invest in property when they're withdrawing from a bank. And where do they put money? Well, they put it into government bonds and they put it into Bitcoin. They're the only really two safe places to be putting money. Gold is another place. Like if you look at gold's price recently, gold has been rallying fairly significantly. If I can bring up the price of gold, gold has been on a bit of a run throughout this entire period of time. Why is gold on a run? Well, quite simply because Bitcoin gold, any safe haven asset right now, will go on a run because banking fear is pretty much peaking. It's pretty much at an all-time high. And so when you're looking at stuff like this is a sign of things to come. Bitcoin is ultimately incredibly bullish right now. Doesn't matter what anybody says. Fundamentally, it has not looked in a better position for a long period of time. And it's important to point out that we do appear to be forming a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders here on the 4-hour chart, which also translates into the daily chart as well. But we look to be forming a little bit of an inverse head and shoulders pattern. At the same time, you could consider this as a bit of a diamond pattern, and a diamond pattern is more so bearish than it is bullish, but we don't have a perfect diamond here that is formed. It's like somewhat of a diamond. And the thing to point out would be, look, we need to hold this level of support at these levels. If Bitcoin loses the level here, I would say at approximately $27,633 at this point in time, we break to the downside of the diamond, and we could probably expect to retrace back down to these levels here at to approximately $25,000. But if we fail to break to the downside, Bitcoin will go up. And ultimately, we've got a CME gap on the price of Bitcoin right now that sits significantly above where Bitcoin's price sits. That's why I've got my trade open. That's why I think I'll make a profit on that, and we'll see what happens. Again, if you are interested in trading, check out the links and information in today's video description for BYBIT. It is a great trading exchange. It's the one that I use. It's my main exchange of choice. And also, you'll find a tutorial linked on the screen somewhere that'll just pop up if you want to learn how to use it. I'd recommend that you do, because you can make and lose a lot of money doing these things, and it can be a nice alternative source of income for you. Anyway, back to the price of Bitcoin and what's going on here. I want to look at the price of Ethereum, because Ethereum has been breaking to the upside. Now on Ethereum, we need to break through this level here at approximately 0.06528 on the price of Ethereum, currently sitting at 0.06503. That mean this is Ethereum's Bitcoin value. It's not the actual value of Ethereum. The actual value of Ethereum is $1,829. Now, on the price of Ethereum, it looks pretty good right now. If we zoom right in on this chart and just kind of look at these resistance levels, it came up, it got rejected at this resistance level earlier at $1,833. However, it's likely to have another go at that within the next few hours, because if we look at the daily chart right now, this is really borderline big pumpage. A lot of this pumpage here is coming from the price of Bitcoin rising, because during all of these movements, the price of Ethereum in Bitcoin value has been falling. So it's likely that probably within the next 7 days at this point, because I've been saying like 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, probably within the next 7 days at this point, Ethereum's going to rally hard. You'll see that reflected in the altcoin market, and altcoins are going to boom. And the real question is, which altcoins are going to boom right now? Which ones are the ones to be buying? Well, I can tell you the ones that I'm buying are buying the same ones as normal. XTP, CAPS, Daffy, because Daffy's price is mega low right now. And there's a few more that I'm going to throw into a video pretty soon on the main channel, so you should go over there and check it out. That Martini guy on YouTube. This is, of course, the second channel. If you didn't already know, this is the second channel, TMG Trades, main channel, That Martini guy. Now, going back to the prices here, I want to point out something that is going on the, I've already covered what's going on with the US dollar, already covered what's going on with Ethereum. There's one more thing that I think I should point out today, and that's how the stock market is reacting to all of these things. And this is going to be a key leader for Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems heavily pegged to the stock market, and currently the stock market is, it's eyeing a significant reversal. And if we see the value of US dollar declining in the way that it probably will do, we can also see that here we've got like an inverse head and shoulders that's arisen, and we've got this final level of resistance that the stock market is sat on right now, which is currently sat at $4,131 on the S&P 500. And if we break through that resistance level, we go boop to the upside in a very quick move, and Bitcoin follows along with it. That's a likely thing that I think will happen. Ultimately, I will be watching the stock market over the course of the next few days to see how that reacts to the recent news that's come out from the Fed. But at the same time, I think the overall stock market appears to be bullish because people are putting money into it, because they're pulling it out of the banks and there's no safe place to put it. It's an interesting conundrum. Like, imagine you're a billionaire and imagine you've got most of your money in banks, in loans and this kind of thing, and you're going, hang on a second, these banks looking a little bit shaky right now. What do you do with your money? What do? You can buy things with it, like assets, or you can keep your money into things that you can sell that are liquid assets. So you can buy either a yacht or you can invest into a yacht company. Which one do you choose? Like, your yacht company shares are going to be liquid. Your yacht's not liquid. You've got to find a buyer for the yacht, and likely you'll lose money on it. That's the whole question. Like, how do you not lose money when withdrawing significant amounts of money from a bank? And the answer is you buy Bitcoin. That's literally the answer. because you probably won't lose money, or you're less likely to lose money. And at the same time, Bitcoin is a liquid asset. If you want to sell $1 billion worth of it, you can sell $1 billion worth of it. You'll probably affect the price 1 or 2%, but it's not going to be like anything significant. Like Bitcoin's daily trading volume at this point on Binance, I think, is $400 billion it peaked at recently. So it's like the market can absorb these huge amounts of Bitcoin that do get bought and sold every single day. And ultimately, this looks really good right now. If we look at my current open trade just to see how much of a loss it's in right now, it's currently only in a $5,200 loss. The funding rate is, well, it was paying me overnight, but it switched back to me paying it. But at the same time, looking at this, like, I'm in a profit already on this trade, but I'm not looking for $800 here. I'm looking for a break up to $28,700. And at that point in time, basically, the easy way to measure this is look how many Bitcoin there is in the trade. There's 44.9, so 45 Bitcoin in the trade pretty much. And if you have a $1,000 price increase, that would mean that my trade makes $45,000. That's the easiest way to measure these things. So at $29,000, I'm going to be in $50,000 worth of profit, something like that. Hopefully that's the way it goes. But anyway, on that note, guys, if you are interested in trading, check out the links in today's video description. Make sure you do drop a like on today's video. We're trying to get 1,000 likes. Subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And thank you all very much for watching today's video, especially with my tomato face. And I cut myself shaving today. So yeah, there's that as well. Always a new update with me. Have a great day, everybody. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Click this tutorial right now, and goodbye.